Hi, everybody. How are you tonight? So, my title is How Does Personalizing a Space Create Good Feng Shui? Well, have you been to a fancy hotel and like a five-star contemporary hotel, and then you find that it's really nice the first 3 days because everything's so pristine. You got these beautiful sheets, and you go into the bathroom and it's like this really contemporary, nice fixtures. There's marble and it's beautiful. But after about 3 days, it's like you kind of get used to it. Are you hearing an echo? I am. I don't know how to fix this. My computer has been giving me trouble for like all week. It's been like over a week. I don't know if I can fix this, but I will try. So anyway, I'm going to keep talking while I'm trying. Let me see if I can do that. So in a hotel, why does it feel so impersonal? Well, it feels impersonal because I got to fix this a little bit. Speakers, sounds. See, I don't know why it's like echo, echo, echo. Can you hear that? Is it just me? Okay, here we go. We'll do it again. Okay, I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Oh, good. So in a hotel, it feels really impersonal. Have you ever looked at the images in the hotel? Well, what it does is, there it goes again. Oh, I'm not going to worry about it. The paintings and the images inside the hotel are very impersonal because it's usually some abstract art, or it could be like a beach scene, or it could be, what do you usually get? You get scenery or like flowers. You get, what do I see? I see a lot of abstract art, you know? And so when you have a lot of abstract art, you don't feel any personal relationship with the pictures or with any of the items in the room. They're beautiful, but there's no connection. So after about 3 days being in a fancy hotel, you're ready to go home. And why is that? It's because when you go home, there's your stuff, and we have a connection with our stuff, you know? And that's just the way it is. If your chair, you bought it or somebody gave it to you, but it's yours, and there's that energy connection. And that's the difference. When you're at a hotel, it's beautiful, but there's no energy connection because you don't have any history with it, or you don't have any, feelings. Those kind of things, because we're human, we actually do feel them. So, how do you personalize a space? Well, I like to tell my clients, I make suggestions, something about your background. What's important to you? It could be where you're from. It could be something you received. It could be an heirloom. Or maybe you went on a trip and had a fantastic time. And so you want to put a picture of that place you went to because it brings back wonderful memories. Or you went somewhere and you saw like a dolphins in the ocean. So to have a picture of wherever that was, maybe it was Hawaii, maybe it was Florida, picture of that location on your wall brings back a flood of memories. And there you have that connection. And that's what makes you happy. So it's just not a picture. So having a picture with meaning is really important. Then it feels like you, and only you get it. And that's a good thing. So, like, we have pictures of where we lived, Also, my husband's family, his father was a geography professor, so he likes maps. So we have a map of old Japan. It's like an antique map. That's a connection for me. It's a connection to Japan. Other things you can have. I have a client who has a huge world map on his wall, and he puts little pins in the places he's been because his love of life is to travel. So he's got these little pins all over the map of where he's been. So that's kind of fun, you know? And then he color codes them. So you can color code too. Maybe the places you've been this year are a certain color, or maybe the places you want to go, you haven't been, can be a different color. You can use your imagination and do things like that. So the other thing, I have some of my clients, and their children are really good artists. So I said, hey, you can have them paint, you know? And even if your child isn't a good artist, have them draw something. But to make it special, get a really nice frame and put it up, and put it up in their wall, or you can put it up in your living room, and it can look fantastic. You know, this lady, her kids were not very old. They were like seventh grade, but they used a lot of color in their art. And then we decided to match the matting to part of the picture in, the colors from her art. And we put in a really nice frame. And then we had two. So we had one next to the other, same size, side by side, and it looked really good. I mean, you wouldn't know a child did it. It was kind of like abstract art. So, but it has connection. Her daughter did it. There's feelings towards it. So if you have kids, it may not be gorgeous art, but I mean, look at some of the abstract art today anyway. It's kind of like they throw the paint on there. And it's like, okay, whatever. So you don't have to really think within the box, think outside of the box. The other thing is, it doesn't have to be, art doesn't have to be a painting or a photograph. It can be a thing. For example, let's say you have a heirloom fountain pen, you know, maybe you have some writing and you have the fountain pen that can be framed. You can put anything in a frame. Maybe you got something from your grandparents that's very precious to you. I've seen clothing, I've seen parts of clothing in a frame, anything. But when it's yours, or it was given to you, or it has special meaning, and then you frame it and put it in your house, there's an energy connection. And that's really important. But we like to put things that have good memories, put you in a good mood. And it's different from something you go to the shop or see on the internet and it looks pretty good, and then you buy it and put it on your wall. It's a different energy. That's okay. But I think if it's something that has a better connection, there's more meaning to it. I had one guy ask me in one of my feng shui talks. He said, I have pictures of my relatives from Europe that I think his parents brought with him from Europe when they came to America, and they were old, and war pictures, all kinds of stuff he had. And he said he had a whole wall. Actually, that's really good feng shui because it means so much to you, you know? So that's the kind of thing that you want to do, is find something with a lot of meaning for you. And that's important. That's really important. So, anybody have any questions? Do we have anybody watching? My eyesight's not so good nowadays, so I can't really tell. Comments will appear here. Means there are no comments. Oh, it says somebody's watching. I see one eye. If that means anything. So we talked about images. Now we can talk about furniture. Sometimes people inherit furniture, you know. And you have to think about that. Sometimes it's too big for your house, or it could be a burden. And it's okay to donate that. I think that if you think in terms of it's going to be useful to somebody else because I can't use it, then it's okay. It's okay to give it away. But if it has a lot of sentimental value for you, then do keep it. I've seen a lot of people struggling. They've been inheriting a lot of things from their parents. And there are a lot of parents who are all upset because their children aren't accepting what they want to give them. They say, I don't want it. I'm never going to use that. You know, like, especially in my generation, we had a lot of crystal, we had a lot of dishes. And the younger generation, they don't want it. So you can't force it on them. But, you know, maybe you can store it for them because they may change. But you have to let go when it's time to let go. That's how it is. So nothing is forever. You know, there are fads. You know, that now, I don't know what the fad is now. In my generation, you know, people used to, when you got married, you got like crystal, silverware, uh, dishes. Today, I think they're a little bit more practical. You know, if you know what they get, I think, well, I guess they get more household goods, things like that. But it's just a different generation. So does anybody, since there are no questions, I'm just trying to think of a good feng shui question. So that feng shui question was really, how do you personalize a space? And is it important to personalize a space? So yes, you personalize a space with things that have meaning for you. And is it important? Yes, because when you see something that has meaning for you and it makes you feel good, then it's affecting you. And you want to make an environment that supports you, that make you feel good. So I think it's really important to personalize a space. You can also do that with color. You know, um, every culture kind of has different colors that they're comfortable with because that's what they grow up with. For example, you know, in Japan, we use a lot of muted colors. I kind of call them like muddy colors, more earthy tones. And then when you go to um, Southeast Asia, they use brighter colors. So every culture, or like in India, they like the oranges and the golds. In Japan, like the mustard or purple. Um, so, and in, you know, Finland or in the Nordic places, they use really fluorescent colors. So every culture has their color. Somebody's watching. I don't know who it is, but thanks for watching. But think about who you are, who your family is. Could be a cultural thing, or it could be an emotional thing. Colors have moods. But what I try to avoid in feng shui is pastel colors are better than bold colors because bold colors, when there's too much in an enclosed space, can be draining. So if you have a bedroom, I had a friend who made her bedroom kind of like blood red because she liked red. I mean, like really red. Here's this book. You see this book? Like this kind of red. And it was so red that you got in and it was like, it kind of takes your breath away. I think those kind of situations, it's a little bit jarring. You don't want a room that is jarring like that. You need uh, because it's a small space. If you're out in the open and you see a big red sculpture, it doesn't affect you so much. Why? Because you're in a big open space. There's lots of sky. There's lots of grass. It doesn't affect you as much as if it's a, you know, 10 foot by 10 foot room and it's all red. That's going to affect you a lot. So space, scale, makes a big difference. So can you say, oh, so you mean you can't have a red room? No, you can have a red room, but you got to use it sparingly. And there are all kinds of reds. And you got to remember, how big is the room? How much are you going to make red? And even if you have a red room, for example, I see a lot of dining rooms that are red. If you've got a cabinet that covers a whole wall, and then you got art, and then you got some chairs, your red becomes very small because you're covering it. So it's just like little bits of red. But if the room is empty, then you've got all this red. So those are the kind of things you got to think about. So in general, when you want to personalize a space because those are the colors you like, that's fine. But if it's a strong color, use it sparingly. Okay? And if it's a pastel, no problem. No problem. You can go ahead and use a pastel. So I think that's all for now. And thanks for watching. Night, everybody. Ciao.